Hello, everyone. So, this is the first actual step to getting better. This is video number one of the 6 videos to retrain the brain to get rid of anxiety. So, what I want you to start doing is I want you to give me the responsibility of getting rid of your anxiety. When we have anxiety, we tend to be hard on ourselves. We beat ourselves up about still having anxiety and why can't I get rid of this? Why can't I just clear my thoughts? Why do I have to feel this way? Why can't I do all the things that I used to do? And we start feeling super guilty about having anxiety. And that guilt does not help us. It actually makes stress worse, anxiety worse, more panic. So we want to make sure that you are giving me that burden. And so what I want you to do is I want you to use me and say, the anxiety doctor is going to help me. Not only is this going to alleviate a lot of the pressure and the responsibility that you feel you have, you're going to be able to give that to me, but also you're going to start believing in me, which is really important in the healing process. We have to remember how the brain works. And I want to explain to you how anxiety is created in the brain. So we have two amygdalas in our brain. We refer to it as the amygdala, but we actually have two. And alarm is created in that area so that we can stay safe and we can get out of harm's way if we are in danger. The problem is that we typically are not in danger every day the way we used to be back in our primitive years when we were cavemen and we weren't in the year 2023. So what the brain does is, let's say you walk into a room and there is a lion. It creates that anxiety so that you can run, and it creates the fear and all the other physical symptoms, the adrenaline, to be able to get out of harm's way. So it activates the fight or flight. So either you're going to fight that lion or you're going to run. The problem with the way the mind thinks stress is it thinks that stress is danger and that we are in danger because it feels so weird and ugly and we don't want to feel that stress. And so the anxiety, or the amygdala, actually is creating that anxiety to, because it thinks that it's in danger, to get us out of that danger. But in reality, stress is not dangerous. I mean, too much stress can be dangerous, right? But in reality, the things that we think about, the things that we go through with whatever it is, you watch the news and you feel stressed about what you just saw, what you just heard, it's going to create that stress. And the feeling of stress triggers that amygdala to think that you're in danger. But we have to remind ourselves that we are not in danger and that we're safe and that we're fine. And we have to know that the amygdala is just thinking that we're in danger. And that's why it's creating all those physical symptoms. And our body and our mind can create physical symptoms. We know this. You know that when you're in your safe space, whether it's at home, in your room, whatever you feel, wherever you feel more comfortable, that is your safe space. And most of the time, we don't get anxiety there. We don't feel all those physical symptoms there because the mind thinks this is your safe space. Just the way we feel when we leave and we get anxiety, we want to come back home. We want to make sure that we get back to that safe space. But if you're not having these physical symptoms every day, almost all day, and in your home, then it can't be anything else than just anxiety. So we have to make sure that it is anxiety. I've already talked to you about getting your blood work done and making sure that physically everything is fine. That is really important because there are a lot of physical reasons why we can have those symptoms, and it makes it a little harder for us to get better because it's our physical body that's not allowing these symptoms to go away. Whether it's your vitamin D, low levels of vitamin D can make anxiety worse, whether it's your thyroid, all that stuff needs to get checked. There's so many different illnesses or lack of vitamin, lack of minerals that can make us worse. So I'm going to give you a list of things that actually help with anxiety. I'm going to give you a list, but I want to make sure that I clarify that anytime you start any supplement, any mineral, any vitamin, you want to make sure that you talk to your doctor before you start, because I am not a medical doctor. I am not your therapist. I want to make sure that you go and you talk to your medical doctor to see if taking specific supplements will help you. For sure, I always tell people magnesium, and I'm writing down because I like to write and doodle, and just makes me remember a little bit more. So magnesium is something that it's a mineral that most of us are lacking. So magnesium will help you fall asleep. It helps with your nervous system. Another thing is omega-3. Omega-3 is good for your heart. It's good for your brain. It's good for the blood flow, which is helpful for any type of, just for our brain to work properly. So omega-3 and magnesium is something that I always recommend my patients to take. But again, you need to talk to your doctor and make sure that you're okay and you're not able to not take this. Vitamin D. This should be only taken if you are low on vitamin D. And what you want to make sure with your doctor is, I'm just going to give you an example. If 30 to 100 is normal for vitamin D and you're at 31, you want to make sure that you want to optimize your vitamin D. So talk to your doctor and ask what your vitamin D level is. And if it is in the low 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever it is, and this is just a number for example, if you're in the low range, you want to make sure that you tell them that you want to optimize. Or you can just go and make sure that every single day you get some vitamin D with the sun. Sun can give us vitamin D. It's really helpful. I do want all of you all to start walking outside if the weather permits. If it's sunny and it's nice outside, take a walk, even if it's just 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Walking in nature is really, really beneficial for anxiety. Exercise is really good for you. If you have not worked out in a long time, I want you to be very cautious about starting any type of workout. You want to start slow if you haven't worked out in a while, because your heart rate is going to increase. You're going to feel your heart just racing a little bit more. And sometimes that can mimic anxiety. It doesn't cause anxiety, but it mimics the feeling of heart palpitations. And that can freak us out if we're not comfortable with anxiety yet, which most of you aren't because this is our first video. So you want to make sure that you start slow, even if it's just walking, increasing that to maybe jogging, and then to running and lifting weights or whatever it is. Start slow, but exercise is super beneficial for our overall mental health. So I always recommend you be doing that, working out, even if it's walking. Water. You want to make sure that you're drinking enough water. When you don't drink enough water and you're dehydrated, that can make us feel anxious, and it makes it harder for us to feel better. So you want to make sure that you're drinking water. You have to have enough water every single day. It's important for us to function It's good for our not only kidneys, but our brain too. So make sure that you are drinking enough water. Sleep is extremely crucial for our overall health, our physical health, but our mental health especially. And I want you to think of this. When you wake up and you haven't had a restful, good night's sleep, you wake up and you're already irritable, you're frustrated. So you want to make sure that you get some sleep. Lack of sleep triggers anxiety, makes us more anxious, even for no reason. Just we wake up and we're already a little bit more anxious. So you want to make sure that you are sleeping well. If you, when you talk to your doctor, if it's okay for you to take magnesium, I would recommend you take it right before you go to bed, because it does help you with getting a restful, good night's sleep. So sleep, very, very crucial. I recommend you do a meditation if you are having trouble with sleep, but we're also going to learn how to train our brain to not worry all the time. And this is one thing that a lot of people do, or people with anxiety, we tend to overanalyze, overthink, and guess what is probably the time that we overthink the most is when we're not doing anything. So usually that's when we're sleeping, when we're trying to fall asleep, we're not doing anything, our mind isn't occupied. And so what do? We're able to think. And so we start thinking all these irrational thoughts. Our mind is racing, and we're thinking about all the worries, and then all the irrational possibilities and the what if start. And that can cause us to just stay awake and not be able to sleep. So how do we train our brain to not worry all the time? And how do we train our brain to be able to leave those worries somewhere else while we're trying to fall asleep? I want all of you all to start a journal. It could be a notepad, it could be a journal, whatever it is. I want you to start a journal. And usually I like to buy big notepads and write stuff down. I'm a doodler. I doodle a lot, and I love writing when I'm talking and when I'm just kind of, even when I'm doing a podcast. But journals are very important when we worry a lot, because it allows us to think, it allows us to write down our thoughts, and it allows us to even process what we're thinking. Sometimes we don't do that. And so what you're going to do is you're going to get a journal, and I want you to start writing in that journal every single day before you go to bed, at least an hour before you go to bed. You want to make sure that you start writing everything that you're worried about, whatever comes to mind. But I want you to not only write about your day. I mean, you could write about your day, you could write about what you did, what you learned, any accomplishments. I want for you to, for sure. So I guess, rephrase that. You can write whatever you want in your journal, but the main things I want you to start doing is I want you to write down at least one thing that you're proud of for that day. And it could be as simple as, I wrote in my journal today, I did deep breathing today. It could be as small and easy as I went to work. Anything that you know that you're proud of, because I know that when we have anxiety, it's really hard for us to get out of bed sometimes. It's really hard for us to leave our home. It's really hard for us to be around and doing things that we used to do. So if you got up and went to work, and you're proud of that, write that down. So for sure, you want to write down one thing that you're proud of. One thing that you're proud of. And it could be anything for the day, anything for the week, anything like, you know what, I'm so proud that I'm here. I'm so proud that I'm doing this program, and I'm attending the meditations, whatever it is, write it down. And then I want you to have a section of worries. Whatever is on your mind that you're worried about, you're going to start writing down. So if you're worried about, bills, or things are getting more expensive, or I'm worried about my anxiety, I'm worried about my health, I'm worried about whatever it is that you're worried about, write it down. Write it down. And after you're done with all your worries and you've written every single worry down on paper and in your journal, you're going to close that journal, and you're going to out loud say, this is where my worries are going to stay. Just say that. This is where my worries are going to stay. And you close it and you put it away. And then you get ready for bed. You try to go to sleep. You take your magnesium if you can take magnesium. And the more you do this, it's not going to work the first day. It's not going to be some magic that just kind of, oh, I'm not thinking of anything. It's going to take time. Remember, most of us have had anxiety for a very long time. It's going to take time to retrain your brain. So we're retraining the brain to know that we have specific times during the day to worry about stuff. Write your worries, leave them there. And that is how we're going to start retraining the brain to know not to worry every single day. This is the first steps to getting better. Remember, you're going to believe in this program. You're going to believe in me, which will eventually lead to believing in yourself. And you're going to give me all the responsibility of getting rid of your anxiety, all that stress and that guilt, whatever it is that you're feeling about not getting rid of your anxiety on your own. Give it to me. Give me all that worry. And another thing, besides looking into the supplements and talking to your doctor and then writing in your journal, is I want you to we did the journal. We did the, I want you to start setting intentions for your day. One of the things with anxiety is that we start already looking for the anxiety. We wake up and we're already dreading the day. So we set the tone for our day. So setting intentions for your day every single morning. And how do we do that? Setting an intention for the day. You want to wake up and you want to set your intention. So whatever it is, today I want to have a restful day, or today I want to have a stress-free day. Today I want to have a productive day. Today I want to have a fun day. Whatever you set for the day, you want to answer this question. How can I ensure that I have a restful day? How can I ensure that I have a stress-free day? So you want to answer that question and implement these little things. So if I say, okay, I want to have a fun day today. So how can I ensure that I have a fun day today? Well, what do I think is fun? You know what? I love to go chat with my friends and have lunch with them. That is really fun for me. Or I like to go riding bikes. That is really fun for me. So implement those things, set the tone for the day, implement the things. And it doesn't have to be a lot of things. If you want a restful day and you know that you like to rest and stay home in your PJs, and that's rest for you, then do that. But answer that question. How can I ensure that I have a restful day, peaceful day, stress-free day, and implement that into your day? Very, very important. And the very last thing and very, very important thing is do not Google. Do not Google what is anxiety. Is this an anxious or a symptom for anxiety or heart palpitations? Whatever is associated with anxiety, stop Googling. If you have any questions, hand those over to me. I will be your Google. Do not Google. Do not Google. Do not Google. And that's all for today. I don't want to overwhelm you with so many things. I hope you implement these into your routine. It's very, very helpful. And I will see you soon in one of our meditations.